First Contact and Revelation. The Viridian High Council had cataloged over 10,000 sentient species across the galaxy, each with its unique biology, culture, and evolutionary path. But none, not a single one, had prepared them for humans. Another life-sustaining planet, Executor Krell. Science Officer Mira reported, her 6 eyes blinking in sequence as she studied the holographic projection of Earth. Nitrogen-oxygen atmosphere, abundant water, moderate gravity. The third planet from a yellow dwarf star. Krell, Supreme Commander of the Viridian exploration vessel Infinite Seeker, regarded the blue-green sphere with mild interest. His species had charted thousands of worlds, and this one seemed unremarkable. Just another entry in the grand catalogue of the Viridian Empire. Preliminary scans indicate a technological civilization, Mira continued, primitive compared to our standards. They've barely ventured beyond their atmosphere. No faster-than-light capabilities. No quantum communications, still dependent on combustion and nuclear fission for energy. Indigenous population? Krell asked, mandibles clicking softly. Approximately 8 billion individuals of a single dominant species, bipedal mammals. They call themselves humans. Krell nodded, his exoskeleton gleaming under the ship's lights. Prepare a first contact protocol. Standard observation procedures. Let's see what these humans are all about. The Infinite Seeker deployed its stealth systems and entered Earth orbit. For 7 planetary rotations, they observed and recorded. They intercepted broadcasts, studied languages, analyzed social structures, and technological capabilities. The more they learned, the more convinced they became that humans posed no threat to the mighty Viridian Empire. They're fractured, Tactical Officer Zorn reported, divided into nation-states that constantly compete with each other. Their global economy is inefficient. Their political systems are chaotic. They waste resources on entertainment and leisure activities. Primitive, but not without potential, Mira added. They've shown remarkable progress in the last few centuries. Their technological advancement curve is steep. Krell ruminated on this information. The Viridian protocols were clear. Primitive but promising species were to be studied, guided, and eventually integrated into the Empire. For their own good, of course. The humans would make adequate subjects, perhaps even useful ones given proper direction. We'll initiate first contact, Krell decided. Send diplomatic drones to their major population centers. Standard greeting package. Let's see how they respond. The sleek, silver drones descended through Earth's atmosphere, appearing simultaneously over New York, Beijing, Moscow, London, and 20 other major cities. They projected the universal greeting, a series of mathematical sequences and simple pictographs designed to establish peaceful communication with pre-spacefaring civilizations. The human response was not what they expected. Within minutes of the drone's appearance, they were targeted by missile systems. Fighter jets scrambled from bases across the planet. Military installations worldwide went on high alert. They're attacking the diplomatic drones. Zorn exclaimed, his voice rising with disbelief. 3 drones already destroyed, 2 more damage. Krell's mandibles clicked rapidly, a sign of agitation among his kind. Impossible. No species has ever responded to the greeting with hostility. The mathematics are universal. The intent is clear. They're not acting from ignorance, Mira said, analyzing incoming data. They understand we're non-terrestrial. They're coordinating a global defensive response. Their militaries are communicating, sharing targeting data. Recall the remaining drones, Krell ordered. This requires reassessment. Back aboard the Infinite Seeker, the command crew gathered to analyze this unprecedented response. I've completed a more thorough analysis of human history, Mira announced. The results are disturbing. A holographic display came to life, showing a timeline of human civilization. But unlike the expected progression from hunter-gatherer societies to agricultural settlements to technological advancement, The timeline was punctuated with something else. War. Endless war. These humans, Mira explained, have spent more of their recorded history at war than at peace. Their technological advances are primarily driven by military necessity. Their greatest scientific leaps occurred during periods of global conflict. The display showed ancient armies clashing with swords and spears, medieval knights in armor, cannons, and muskets, tanks and planes, nuclear explosions, stealth bombers, and drone swarms. Their entertainment glorifies combat, Mira continued, projecting snippets of human films, games, and books. Their children play at war. Their sports mimic battlefield tactics. Their economies are built on military-industrial complexes. Krell studied the images with growing unease. You're suggesting these creatures evolved as warriors. Not just warriors. Executor, Mira corrected. Apex predators who evolved to hunt not just other species but each other. Look at their biology. The display shifted to human anatomy. Bipedal stance, freeing hands for tool use. Forward-facing eyes for depth perception in hunting. Endurance beyond any species we've encountered. They can literally run prey to death through persistence hunting. Omnivorous diet providing dietary flexibility. And cognitive abilities specifically geared toward pattern recognition, strategic thinking, and cooperative group tactics. Many species evolve as predators, Zorn noted. Yes, but how many continue to wage war after achieving technological maturity? Mira countered. The Viridians outgrew violence once we achieved spaceflight. So did the Centaurians, the Proxima Collective, and every other advanced civilization we've encountered. These humans have nuclear weapons and still maintain standing armies. They've been to their moon and still fight over territories. Krell contemplated this information, mandibles working slowly. We need to understand their military capabilities more thoroughly before reporting back to the High Council. I advise caution, Executor, Zorn warned. If they responded with hostility to diplomatic drones, a military probe might trigger a full-scale response. Krell's 6 eyes narrowed. Deploy a hunter-seeker to one of their less populated regions. Full stealth protocol. Observe only. The hunter-seeker, a semi-autonomous drone designed for reconnaissance in hostile environments, descended toward a remote area of what humans call Siberia. Its adaptive camouflage rendered it nearly invisible as it recorded military installations, weapon systems, and troop movements. For 3 days, the hunter-seeker operated undetected. On the 4th day, it went silent. Signal lost, Zorn reported, antennae twitching nervously. Last transmission shows it was tracking the human military convoy. Then nothing. Impossible, Krell hissed. Our stealth technology is undetectable to pre-FTL civilizations. They can't have spotted it. Final telemetry coming in, Mira announced. The hunter-seeker was captured, not destroyed. They're studying it. The command deck fell silent. They shouldn't be able to detect it, let alone capture it intact, Zorn whispered. Deploy a recovery team, Krell ordered. Full combat gear. I want that hunter-seeker back, and I want to know how these primitives managed to capture our technology. The recovery team. 6 Viridian commandos in exo-armor, deployed to the coordinates of the hunter-seeker's last transmission. They found a military base hidden beneath camouflage netting, disguised as a weather research station. The humans had the hunter-seeker in a reinforced chamber, surrounded by scanning equipment. Commence recovery operation, the team leader ordered. The Viridian commandos were the elite of the Empire's military forces, bioengineered for combat, equipped with technology centuries beyond Earth's capabilities, trained in stealth and precision strikes. They should have recovered the drone and returned to the ship without a single human even knowing they were there. They never made it back. The humans were waiting for them. Somehow, they had anticipated the recovery mission, prepared an ambush, and engaged the Viridian commandos with unexpected tactics. They didn't meet the Viridians head-on. They couldn't match their technology or strength. Instead, they used the environment, improvised explosives, electronic countermeasures, and coordinated small unit tactics. From the Infinite Seeker, Krell and his command crew watched in horror as their elite team was systematically isolated, divided, and neutralized by primitive humans, using nothing more advanced than projectile weapons and basic body armor. How? Krell demanded. How did they know? How did they prepare? They're adapting, Mira said, voice filled with wonder and terror. They detected one piece of our technology and immediately developed countermeasures. They're learning at an exponential rate. Executor. Zorn interrupted. We're detecting multiple missile launches from the planet's surface. They've triangulated our position. Impossible, Krell roared. Our cloaking field is being penetrated by targeting radar, Zorn finished. They've modified their systems based on what they learned from the Hunter-Seeker. Nuclear-tipped missiles streaked toward the Infinite Seeker. The ship's defenses easily neutralized them, but the implication was clear. The humans now knew they were there and were mobilizing for war. The High Council must be informed, Krell decided. These humans are unlike any species we've encountered. They're not just primitives with weapons. They're natural warriors with an innate understanding of combat that rivals our most elite forces. As the Infinite Seeker prepared to break orbit and return to Viridian space, they received an unexpected transmission. A message broadcast on all frequencies in perfect Viridian language. We know you're up there. We know you're watching. If you come in peace, so shall we. If you come for war, know that humanity was forged in the fires of conflict. It is not our wish, but it is our heritage. Choose wisely. Krell stared at the message, mandibles frozen in shock. How did they learn our language? From the captured commandos, presumably, Mira suggested. Their ability to analyze and adapt is remarkable and terrifying. Krell added. Send the message to the High Council. All of it. They need to understand what we've discovered here. This isn't just another primitive species to be cataloged or conquered. What have we discovered, exactly? Zorn asked. Krell's eyes focused on the blue-green planet below. A species that evolved not just to survive, but to wage war. A species that turns adversity into advantage, that learns from every encounter, that never stops fighting. A species, Mira added quietly, that might be more dangerous than any we've ever encountered. The war and understanding. The Viridian High Council received Krell's report with skepticism. Surely a pre-FTL species couldn't pose a genuine threat to the Empire. The loss of a Hunter-Seeker and a commando team was unfortunate, but hardly cause for the alarm in Krell's transmission. These humans must be properly assessed, Supreme Counselor Vex declared. Executor Krell's experiences may have colored his judgment. We will send the Dominion fleet to conduct a thorough evaluation. Krell received the orders with a sense of foreboding. The Dominion fleet was not an exploratory force. It was a battle group designed for planetary subjugation. 12 capital ships, each capable of reducing a city to ash, accompanied by hundreds of fighter craft and troop carriers. They don't understand what they're dealing with, he told Mira as they watched the fleet arrive in Earth orbit. They think this is just another primitive species to be cataloged and controlled. Perhaps the show of force will convince the humans to surrender without resistance, Mira suggested, though her tone indicated she didn't believe it. No, Krell said firmly. You've studied them. What happens when humans are confronted with overwhelming force? Mira's 6 eyes blinked in sequence, a gesture of resignation. They fight harder. They become more innovative, more desperate, more dangerous. The Dominion fleet's arrival was impossible to conceal. Massive warships took position around Earth, their hulls reflecting sunlight, visible to even the naked eye from the planet's surface. Fleet Admiral Zax, commander of the Dominion fleet, sent a simple message to Earth's governments: surrender or be subjugated. The humans were given 24 hours to comply. They responded in 12. Not with surrender, but with a coordinated attack that shocked the Viridian command. Missiles launched from silos and submarines. Fighter jets scrambled from air bases and aircraft carriers. But these were mere distractions. The real attack came from a weapon the Viridians hadn't detected, a network of ground-based energy weapons, technology the humans shouldn't have possessed. They reverse-engineered our hunter-seekers' defensive systems, Mira realized as the battle unfolded. In days, they adapted our technology to create offensive weapons. 3 Viridian vessels were severely damaged in the first assault. The rest quickly adjusted their shields, but the message was clear: the humans would not surrender. Admiral Zax, enraged by this defiance, ordered a demonstration strike. The smallest Viridian vessel targeted a mid-sized human city, Sofia, Bulgaria, and fired a single energy beam. In seconds, the city center was reduced to molten glass. The human response was not fear, but fury. Their attacks intensified. More surprisingly, they began employing tactics that exploited weaknesses in Viridian ship design, weaknesses they couldn't possibly have known about unless they had thoroughly analyzed the captured hunter-seeker. "They're not just adapting our technology," Krell observed. "They're understanding how we think, how we fight, and they're countering it with precision." The Dominion fleet, faced with unexpected resistance, escalated the conflict. They targeted military installations worldwide, unleashed fighter swarms against human aircraft, and prepared ground forces for invasion. The humans responded with asymmetric warfare. They couldn't match Viridian firepower, so they didn't try. Instead, they used their knowledge of their own planet, its geography, its weather patterns, its electromagnetic fields, to create battlefield advantages. When Viridian troops landed outside Washington, D.C., they found not a conventional army waiting for them, but a series of traps, ambushes, and electronic warfare systems that disrupted their communications and targeting systems. In Beijing, human forces lured Viridian dropships into the path of a hastily modified weather control system, creating localized electromagnetic storms that disabled Viridian technology. In the Sahara, they used the desert itself as a weapon, triggering massive sandstorms that abraded Viridian exoskeletons and clogged their breathing apparatus. "This isn't random resistance," Krell told the increasingly concerned Admiral Zax. "They're studying us, learning our weaknesses, and exploiting them with remarkable speed. They're primitives with stolen technology," Zax dismissed. "Clever, perhaps, but ultimately doomed. No species has ever successfully resisted the Dominion fleet. No species like this has ever been encountered," Krell countered. The war escalated. The Viridians, frustrated by human resistance, began targeting civilian infrastructure. The humans, rather than breaking, became more unified than they had ever been in their history. Former enemies pooled resources and shared intelligence. Scientists worldwide collaborated on weapons development. Military forces coordinated across borders and ideologies. 2 months into the war, the Dominion fleet had suffered losses that would have been unthinkable against any other pre-FTL species. 5 capital ships destroyed, dozens of fighter squadrons lost, thousands of ground troops killed or captured. And the humans were getting stronger, not weaker. They had studied captured Viridian technology and incorporated elements into their own weapons. They had analyzed Viridian tactics and developed counters. They had even begun to understand Viridian psychology, using it to predict reactions and plan accordingly. Admiral Zax, facing the unthinkable possibility of defeat, prepared a final solution: simultaneous orbital bombardment of all major human population centers. A genocide to end the resistance. But before the order could be executed, something unprecedented occurred. The human forces launched a coordinated attack unlike anything before. Not against the Dominion fleet's weapons or shields, but against its communication systems. Using a combination of electromagnetic pulses, computer viruses based on studied Viridian code, and targeted physical strikes against key relay nodes, they effectively blinded and silenced the Viridian command structure. In the 20 minutes it took to restore communications, Human strike teams had boarded 3 capital ships, including Admiral Zax's flagship. Krell, watching from the Infinite Seeker, received a transmission from an unexpected source, Admiral Zax's command deck. On the screen appeared a human, female, middle-aged, wearing what appeared to be a high-ranking military uniform. "I am General Maya Chen, representing the United Earth Defense Force," she announced in flawless Viridian. "I am currently standing on the command deck of your flagship. Your admiral is alive but incapacitated. Your crew has been secured. I wish to discuss terms." Krell stared in disbelief. How did you board a Viridian capital ship?" "The same way we've done everything since you arrived, Executor Krell," she replied. "We adapted. We learned. We overcame. It's what humans do. It's what we've always done." At Krell's shocked expression, she continued, "Yes, we know who you are. We've studied your communications, your command structure, your technology. We know more about the Viridian Empire now than you know about us. And that's why this war ends today. You cannot hope to defeat the full might of the Empire," Krell warned. "We don't need to," Chen replied. "We just need to make the cost of victory too high to bear. Your Admiral Zax has already witnessed what we're capable of. The question is, have you?" Krell had. He had studied humans more thoroughly than anyone in the Empire. He understood what General Chen was implying. The Viridians might eventually win through sheer numbers and resources, but the humans would extract a terrible price. "What are your terms?" he asked. "Recognition of Earth's sovereignty, non-interference in our development, a technology exchange program, equal sharing, not conquest, and a defensive alliance against threats from beyond." "The High Council would never agree to treat with primitives as equals," Krell said. Chen smiled, a human expression Krell had learned to recognize but still found unsettling. "We're hardly primitives anymore, Executor. Not after what we've learned from you. Besides, I think your council might be persuaded when they see what else we've discovered." She transmitted a data package to the Infinite Seeker. Mira gasped as she analyzed it. "This is... Executor, they've decoded our stellar maps. They've identified Viridian Prime. And they've designed weapons specifically to target it from interstellar range." "Impossible," Krell whispered. "You couldn't have developed such technology so quickly." "We didn't need to build it yet," Chen explained. "Just design it. Your own technology showed us how. We've been studying warfare for our entire existence, Executor. It's in our blood, our history, our mythology. Not because we love it, but because we've never had a choice." She stepped closer to the camera. "Do you know why humans became so adept at warfare, Executor Krell? It wasn't by choice. It was necessity. On our world, resources were scarce, territories limited, threats abundant. We evolved not just to fight, but to win against all odds. To adapt, to overcome, to survive." Krell considered her words, seeing the humans in a new light. Not as primitives playing with stolen technology, but as creatures forged by evolution into perfect warriors, not for conquest, but for survival. "I will convey your terms to the High Council," he finally said, "and my recommendation that they be accepted." "A wise choice," Chen nodded. "We don't want this war, Executor. We never did. Humans dream of peace more than anyone. We build monuments to it, create art about it, long for it in our deepest souls. But we prepare for war because history has taught us that we must." As negotiations proceeded in the following weeks, Krell spent more time studying humans, not just their warfare, but their art, their philosophy, their dreams. He came to understand a profound truth. Humans had become masters of war not because they loved it, but because they feared it. They understood its cost better than any species in the galaxy. The peace treaty between Earth and the Viridian Empire was signed 3 months later. It recognized humans not as subjects, but as equals. Not as primitives to be guided, but as partners to be respected. And perhaps most importantly, as teachers of a lesson the galaxy have forgotten, that true strength comes not from domination, but from the will to overcome any obstacle in the pursuit of survival. In the decades that followed, as humans ventured out into the stars alongside their former enemies, other species would come to learn what the Viridians had discovered at great cost, that the creatures from Earth were indeed built for war, but longed for peace with an intensity born from knowing all too well the alternative. And when new threats emerged from the dark between stars, these contradictory humans, compassionate killers, peaceful warriors, gentle destroyers, stood ready alongside their allies, a terrible swift sword held in hands that would rather plant gardens, but would do what must be done to protect what they loved. For that, in the end, was humanity's true purpose, not to wage war, but to preserve peace, whatever the cost.